Hey folks, and welcome to this symposium on the 6th of October 2022. Today we're just going to run through all the charts that we went through yesterday. We're going to look at them, see what happened, what's going on, and see if we can see what's setting up, see if we had any trays that were filled based on what we looked at yesterday, and see what's happening. Okay, so this is the first pair we looked at. This is the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. And as you can see, we have still done nothing. We're still visiting these lows. We had like today we've just started to move higher off that. So this is maybe a trade that'll happen in a few weeks, potentially. So we'll just leave that in there. If this area of supply is removed, well, then that might give us a nice buying opportunity here at the area of demand that remove that. But for the time being, we wait. The Australian dollar, Swiss franc, same thing going on here. We have price moving away from these lows here. We tested this area of supply, we retreated, and so now it's just again a matter of waiting until price manages to come back up here. But for the time being, there's nothing to do. Price is reacting pretty nicely off these lows here, but there's absolutely nothing to do, so we wait. Let me move this little thing away. Okay, then we have this one here. This is the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Okay, we have this one as well. We've got this one here. We formed a nice base and we touched that area there. A little bit too high for my liking. I'm on the 4-hour chart. That might have been a pretty nice clear entry. Let's have a look. No, there's nothing to. That's not even a pretty. There's no reason to get involved in that at all. Bugger off, cat. Oh, I got animals walking all over the place. And so here, I mean, there's nothing to do. And so we wait until price revisits this area here. We did manage to go through that, so we might poke through, but normally when you have an area as precise as this, price can often, surprisingly enough, respect it in the future. So we're leaving that again. Here we have the Australian dollar, Kiwi. I've missed, hey, stop. Sorry, my dogs are trying to eat my cat. So here we have this beautiful low. We came right to it, as you can see here, and price hasn't really figured out what it's going to do, but I'd like price to poke down into there. Sorry, let me save my cat. All right, as the saying goes, you can take the bally dog out of bally, but you can't take the bally out of the bally dog. And the same applies. They are wild animals. All the dogs that we have here, I mean, they're jungle dogs. They're first generation domestic dogs, and whenever they see another animal, it's food. And so we just have to keep our eyes on it so they don't eat all of our other house pets. But so we came down here and we got really close, but we still didn't get quite down there. We got really close. As a matter of fact, I could just pop it above. I've been missing a lot of trades because of these widening spreads, but I'm going to leave that. I'll leave that there. I think the price could easily kind of poke down into that area there, and so put it right on there. And so we'll just leave that in there and see if we don't get a fill in the not so distant future. Okay, this one here as well. This is the Australian dollar, American dollar. We're still kind of forming this base here. This is the 4-hour chart. And price is slowly wriggling higher. And I'm thinking that we're probably going to go higher from here for a bit. Ideally, we want to try and move beyond these highs. You can see that we've tested these kind of a couple of times, but we haven't really been successful, sorry. But we want to see something like that, and then a retracement to that area, and then a continuation higher up to roughly where we are looking to sell here, but nothing to do yet, so we're going to sit on our hands and wait. Okay, going to the euro, Australian dollar. Price is moving. Here you can see we have revisited the 60% give back from this move from the origin from here down to the lows, and we kind of revisited these highs. We're having a tough time coming above these highs here historically, but I think it's just a matter of time before price kind of nestles down into this area here and then continues higher. But let's have a look on the hourly chart. Maybe there's a nice pattern. Not so much there. Go to the 4-hour. Yeah, so we could see. Okay, so you can see we have to mark off these areas where we had respect for price and then a removal of it. And you can see we've respected this several times and now it's gone. In the area that removed it, we have to zoom out a little. And find, yeah, it kind of comes from here, doesn't it? How we had that area there. We came up, we failed, and we managed from this area here. So I'm thinking that on a 30-minute chart, there's probably going to be something right here. So we'll go like that, go to the 30-minute chart, and we'll see. I don't really like that, actually. It's too much trading in the area. The only thing that looks remotely interesting is this. So we'll leave it on there. Not going to take it, we'll just leave that on there. And I think that looks kind of interesting just because the breakaway, the buy zone has already been established. Just here, so we'll leave that, okay, and we'll come back to that tomorrow or the day after and see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty okay actually on the hourly chart just here. This is also, we had attempt, failure, rally, accumulation, slingshot, departure. So we could, looking at that, we could even go do something like that. Okay, something like this. Okay, so that could be interesting. The buy zone established, but I'll leave that for the time being. Okay, the Euro Canadian dollar, yeah, racing higher. We're rebalancing the Euro sell-off that we've seen recently. We're kind of returning to parity. If we move up to, actually, this is the daily chart. Okay, yeah, we still have a lot to go. There's a lot of kind of trading in this area here. So I'm thinking we could easily trade higher until we revisit this area just here. So going to the smaller time frames, there could be some areas of demand in here. You see this area here, tested, failure. So there could be something maybe a little clearer on the 4-hour chart. That, yeah, you can kind of see it here. There's something in here. Okay, tested, failure, and price kind of came down to here. Okay, so if we mark this off just to see where we are, how deep we are, and that take us back to the 70. That's pretty interesting. So I shan't do anything just yet. That's also at the kind of a round number, the 132.50. But we'll wait. We'll wait till price comes lower before we decide what we're going to do there. In this one here, we have this trade up here. For the time being, price is not doing much. We're just kind of messing around. Just here, if we look, you can see that we have this little area here. We've got this one here. I prefer this one here because I've got this around here. Okay, so we had just here, we had prices tried here, tried several times here, and we failed. The origin of the move is just around here. It's right here. So this could be an interesting place, but we're still waiting. This is also around 50% from this entire move, but we'll wait and see what happens. Maybe we'll put an alarm here. Alert. We'll do the same thing here. Wasn't there one here as well? Yeah, we'll put another one here. And we'll leave those and see what happens. Okay, going on. We've got this one here. This is the Euro British Pound. So we acted quite nicely off this this daily demand just here. Actually, it's this area here, but because we traded in the area so much, we did an automatic deep zone or kind of slingshot entry. Price poked into that. Now we seem to be wriggling higher. So let's have a look on the smaller time frame and see what that looks like. It's not a terribly ambitious departure, is it? If you look at that, so we're just going to wait. We poked into this area perfectly. This one was tested. Price went through that as expected. Went to the next one, and this is where we saw the reaction, but nothing to do just yet. This one's interesting because we tested, failed, rallied, accumulated, left. Because we've got that one there. Yeah, but still nothing to do there. The Euro Kiwi, we've got this one down here, which I like. I just like this pattern. Also like lots of attempts to move beyond this price point, finally succeeding from here, from the 165.32 area. And I really think this is just kind of like a pretty departure. The buy zone, just there. Okay, we've also got this one down here, but nothing to do for the time being. So we'll wait and see. Let's see what we've got here. No, there's nothing to do there. Okay, the Euro Japanese yen. Yeah, we're in this one. We sold here. We went down here. I'm expecting, because of this, our entry was right at the 80. That's pretty deep, so we can expect to give back at least 50% of the move into that area. You can see from here to here. Okay, so that puts us around here. Okay, so we could easily see price wriggle down there, but we don't know just yet. We'll have to wait and see. But we're still very high in the histogram, so we're kind of we completed the bear cycle, bull cycle, excuse me, from here to here. Okay, from here, oops, from here to here, here to here, and now we're looking to go down, so we can expect something like this. And that would most likely bring us to, you know, let me do it like this instead. Most likely bring us somewhere down here. If that happens, by the time we get buy signals down here, then I think that would be a really nice place to get out of the trade. 50% being the most obvious place, but we don't know. We could shoot up and get ourselves stopped out, but I've actually moved my stop to break even on this one in anticipation that price does do what we expect it to do and move lower. Okay, so we're going to leave that in there. The Euro American dollar. Here we've reacted nicely on this little departure, tested, failure, failure, failure. On the 4, there's going to, well, the hourly is going to be a little cloudy there, I'm thinking. Yeah, so we had that line. So we had this, tested, finally removed the area that did it. I mean, it's clear, it's like this one here, isn't it? The slingshot went right there. This is a low. So we had this going on, okay, from this area here. Price came in, we poked into that, and then we left. Nice little trade. But still waiting to move up here, so we're patient. Pound Aussie, yeah, we're still waiting. So you can see that price is going back up into these areas here. It'll look like this. See, we've tested those a couple of times, once, twice, 3 times, but the sell zone is still here, so we're going to wait and see what happens. We want to wait until price moves up to there, because this is where we're going to likely get the bigger reaction. You're going to get reactions typically at these highs that you can see here, but the reaction that you want is the one where you don't have to fiddle with it so much. It's more of a kind of set and forget scenario where you put your entry in and you leave it. Okay, but we don't have that quite yet, so waiting on that one as well. Okay, here we have the pound Canadian dollar, still racing higher. What we like about this one is we're getting close to our area. That's what the histogram looks like. We're probably getting right, yeah, so I'm starting to move up here, which is nice. Okay, so we want to see price poke up into this area by the time we've entered the sell zone, which we have not yet got. So this could time quite beautifully. Again, we have this from here. Let's say it ends around there, you know, and price kind of manages to move up here, and then it kind of moves down like that. 50% of the box. Where would that be? Let's go back here. 50% of the box, it probably puts us around here. Okay, so this could be where price goes to. Let me move that down here. Just halfway through that box, maybe around here. So we'll put that there, and we'll see what happens once price does come back up to there. Okay, this is where we had the release from here. We're not measuring from here, but from here, because when price went here, we turned around. From here, we went straight to the lows. So this is where you want to attach the box if you're boxing. So pound Japanese yen. Ooh, getting close, getting very close. Ooh, we got this nice little thing here. We can't actually. We need to go to the 4-hour chart. We'll mark this off, just like this. Go to the 4-hour. See what that looks like. We're going to have a couple of patterns there on top of each other. Yeah, right there. You can see one and then this one on top of it. So we have something like that. Go to the hourly for some clarity. I'm thinking that down here is Oh, yeah, right there. And this is essentially this. So once tested, nice area, tested, 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 removed from here. So this is where we would look to buy from here. And then here you can see, if we do our, let's just put our fibs on here, from here to here. Okay, that's right on the 80% give back. Stops you'd want to put down here. So we could do that. And this is the daily demand. So 151, 57 dot, what does that say? 52? No. What does that say? 82. I don't know. Let's test it. 57. 72. I don't know what it says. It's difficult to see. Take profit. We'll put that there. And stop loss is 155.45. We can just adjust this. Okay, that was right. So right around there. That's fine. We'll leave that there. Okay. So that's what we have there. This little pattern just here. I like that because this is the area that was responsible for consuming whatever's over here. We tested it once, twice, and we removed it from here. So we'll leave that in there. We'll leave all those lines in there as well. Okay, going to this one, starting to break down. Yeah, so here you can see as well really clearly where we had this tested. Okay. Finally removed from here, so we had kind of, yeah, there's not a lot of strength there, is it? It's not like we can see this here. So I'm thinking that we are probably going to come lower. So we'll come down here and then move north from there. But so this is the origin of the move that went through there. So if we put this on here, like so, that brings us down to around 70% give back of this move. This is the origin of the move that moved above this area here, consuming this supply. This supply because it moved below this low here. Okay, so all of these things are like linked together, as you can see, and so it's really important that you pay attention to these small details. I hope this format of video is helpful, by the way, just kind of going through like the thought process, because this is how I'm trading every day, just going through one by one and using oftentimes the dashboard to time things, which I like. Okay, moving on, the pound, Kiwi. Okay, let's go on the daily. Yeah, still waiting to get high, not really getting there. Oh, that would have been beautiful, a beautiful, inefficient spike up to here, and then a departure. But you can see we're super ripe for selling. We started getting ripe for selling like very early on here, actually way earlier. Yeah, on the close of this blue candle, it was saying, time to sell. Okay, but now where do we go? It'll be really interesting to see where we went, because we want to learn to recognize what these patterns look like. So where price stopped. So we're going to look in here. It's going to go like that. This is where it happened. Then we go down to as low as we can go, so we can study that price. That's where it went to. If you look here, it came down. We went up. We sat. We left, slingshot, departure. So from here, I'll probably box off the whole area, but we left from here. Okay, so if we put at the bottom of the box, I mean, price went to that area a little bit further, and then it went through it. Okay, so this is what a turning point in price looked like. But also notice, this is not just some random pattern. You have to hook it up to something historical, and you can see right there. Okay, you can see ever so clearly. Tested. Okay, we tried from here, we failed, we went up, we tried from here, we failed, we came back to it. The origin of the move that went through it is there, here. Okay, because it's this candle. It's right here. Okay, so this is where our entry will go. This one was removed. The origin of it is right there. Okay, so that's where we go to. So this is the reference point for the future. Okay, and do that. Like wherever you see price, whenever you see price turn around, let's do this one right here. Why did price turn around there? That's a really good question. So we go like this. Mark off the low. Not quite. A little bit higher. Like that. And then we want to look in here. What is it in here? Why did price stop there? So go to the hourly first and then go down. Sometimes you can go down to the 1 minute and you can see what it was that encouraged price to stop. I wonder if we have enough data. I don't think we're going to have enough data. Maybe we're lucky. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Go away, cat. Not now. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Hopefully. Okay, so now, hopefully we can see. Okay. Kind of see we have a small pattern here, so this is essentially where we left from. If we go like that. I'm scrolling, and we got super close to it, but not quite. So if you go into the future, you want to see how price reacted again in the future. We came close to it so many times. We went just beyond it. Boom, huge increase in bearish liquidity just beyond that area. Okay, so if you mark off this high, and then we go all the way back here, and you say, what happened? Why did price leave so quickly there? And you can see right here, this is essentially, let me zoom in. Stop, cat. What we have here, price came down. That's not a very pretty one, is it? I would never have traded that in a million years, but this one looks clearer, as you can see. Because here we have like a clearer breakaway. Okay, this is super clear, and you can see that quite nicely here. And on maybe the 5 minute, there's going to likely be a micro slingshot in here. You can see the wicks. So that is kind of a telltale that there's something going on there. But it's difficult sometimes because we rarely have the data to go that far back in time to do the analysis. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. This one's gone. Okay, we'll leave that. So, yeah, well, we shan't do anything there. We're certainly looking to move a little bit lower. We've got price inefficiency that needs to be addressed. We could identify. Okay, so we go like this. Let that do, and then go down to the 5 minute or even the 1 minute. Tested. See, price didn't do a very good job, did it? Where did it depart from? It actually departed from. Okay, I'm just gonna departed from here, right here. See? We came back, and this is where we went away from. So right there. Okay, right there. That's right exactly where we left from. Okay. You guys, you hear that noise in the background? We live in a place called Sibang Kaja. Kaja is the Balinese word for facing the mountain, essentially north. And in Bali, there isn't a north, south, east, or west. Everything is relative to the volcano that you're closest to, and we've always referenced Mount Agung, which is the biggest mountain or the biggest volcano on Bali, and we are facing Mount Agung, and so we live in Sibang Kaja. But further down the road, there's a different one where, for example, it can be like Kalod, which means something else, and then you have. It's quite interesting because if you live in like Western terms, like south of the volcano, then that would be like the volcano would be north. But if you live east of the volcano, then a western west would be north, if that makes sense, because that's the side that would be facing the volcano. And so sometimes when you ask directions in Bali, you end up more confused than on the right track, which is quite funny. Anyway, we live in a pretty remote place, and we have like a 2.5 meter wall around the property because there are just so many wild animals all around us, mostly packs of dogs, and you can hear them fighting in the background there. But it's so that's what you could just hear in the background there. Some packs of dogs, rival gangs beating on each other, territorial disputes and whatnot, maybe fighting over the neighbor's cat. It's quite funny. Okay, so here, so we'll leave that and we'll see. We'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so now we have the pound American dollar. Yeah, still waiting for price to come back here. Okay, I like this. Here we have the buy zone right there. Clarity. Okay, clarity, chaos. Okay, this is an imbalance in supply and demand. This is a balance. This is people are happy trading with one another. Look at that sideways price movement. Price pops above. Okay, so price will probably return to this area in the future and have maybe a kind of a reaction. Okay, so this was once perceived as fair value. It was when you're down here, this is expensive. Okay, so you're down here, well, this is expensive, but now this is cheap relative to this, and so you can always refer to these periods of consolidation that are so clear on a chart. I mean, we have one, we have like a pretty big one here, yeah. Then price going up to this one here, and then we went up to we have we have something here. Okay, and price went a little bit above and a little bit below. We went above here and below. So when price goes below an area like that, typically after it's formed, well, then there's normally really strong reactions that move it to the opposing side because there was so much interest in buying at sub-value prices, as you can see just here. Okay, so still waiting for that to happen. And so it means sometimes, you have a day or a week with no trades. Other times you get like 5 fills in a day, because we have enough volatility, sorry, speaking Danish there, due to economic data releases, and this obviously affects how quickly price moves. And so sometimes you need these economic data releases to facilitate the volatility required to bring price to your entries. Okay, and so we need price to shoot down here and poke into that. Okay, moving to the next one. Here we have, this is the Kiwi American dollar. This is pretty low, as you can see, and so we can take this, but you'd have to be careful. So what I'll do is I would be quite careful about trading here because we're quite low. Let me see what the histogram is doing. I'm guessing the histogram is negative turning positive. Excuse me, yeah, so it was negative and it's turned positive. So if we can reach the completion of this bull cycle, which started here and is still going on, if that happens somewhere in here, then that's great, that's fair game. Then it's time to sell as we kind of start our bearish cycle, which starts, let's say, here, okay, which would look something like this on the histogram. And that would stop, and then you buy, sell, buy. But you don't just buy and sell using that. For all of the users of the ASI, you'll know that simply selling and buying is not a good idea. This one worked out beautifully. This one didn't work out very well. So unless you're babysitting it, you're probably not going to do very well. This one worked out quite nicely, but you never know really. And so I'm thinking if price manages to come up here, it might be a really good idea to sell. I'll put an alarm in there to see what happens. We go to the daily chart just to see where we are relative to the big price movements. We're really low, huh? Super low, and so selling now might not be such a good idea. But buying down here, that might be a really nice idea. So I'm going to pop on a rectangle from here and do something like that. Okay, right around there. Well, I'll leave it on there. Let's go to the 4 hour. Zoom out a little. Yeah, that could be interesting, but on this chart I don't really like it so much, and so we'll wait. I'm not going to do anything. The only thing I would do is maybe sell here, but we're low, so I shan't do that either. Rather higher. Okay, moving on. American dollar, Swiss franc. What are we doing? We almost came down to this one here, not quite. Okay, we've got this one here, getting close. We reacted to this one already. We still have to visit these highs, so nothing to do there. Then we have CAD, Swiss franc. We're still waiting for price to wriggle down to this area. I like this because we're really low. Let me get the histogram on there. Okay, so where are we? Where would this be relative to our buy and sell zones? Yeah, so that would take us like beyond the 60%, between probably the 65%. So that's quite deep. Okay, we have 50% right here. We bounced right on it, and now we're still seeking liquidity to entice some more buying. So we have to go lower, and so we'll probably wriggle down into this little price nodule. I'm thinking maybe on the 30-minute chart we'll see even more clarity. Let's move some of these. Yes, on this one here, you think, wow, right down there, that looks much nicer. Okay, because the reason I like this one is because we had this tested. You kind of went through it. The origin of the move that went through it is, I mean, obviously it's from here, but you want to look at the demand that formed. You want to see the move through it, which is this one. If we go to the 1 hour chart, maybe it's a little clearer. Yeah, so this is, this is the move that went through it, and the slingshot was pulled down to here for the departure. And so I'm thinking the price would probably come down to around here. I'll leave it there because I'm getting some terrible fills as I've been complaining about. So we'll leave that there for the time being. Okay, but I think the price should probably come down into here somewhere. We'll see. Maybe stop here. We don't know. We'll leave it. Always looking for a better price. Okay, so let's go back to that trade we saw a moment ago. Which one was that? It hasn't done anything yet, but it's this one here. So I'll leave it on there, and next time we revisit these charts, we'll have a look at that and see how we did on that one. But also you can see here that not a really good idea to sell there. We got this going on as well, so just be super careful. I'm expecting price to want to continue to move a little bit further higher. We've got a nice sell zone right here, so this is price sensitive, so this whole area could provide some resistance for price should it come up here in the future. If we have a nice price inefficiency into that area, we could get ourselves a nice short-term trade there. Okay, good. I've been rambling for half an hour. I'm going to stop. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Please send your questions and trades and whatnot into me. I'd be absolutely thrilled to receive them. Thank you.